Hello, this is Renee from 22 Social, and today we have the Facebook group paid membership tip number 6. Uh, Today we're going to be talking about organizing group content, and like I said before, another tips is a lot of times people complain about there being too much content in the group or things being a little too disorganized, and it's hard for the user to consume, and so if they don't consume, they're not going to stick around. So I'm going to give you a few ideas of how you can organize content to make this a much better experience for your group members. The first is post topics. You may have seen this. Not everybody uses this in groups, but post topics they're sort of like tagging posts. So when you create a post, you can tag it with a topic, and it's pretty simple. You create a post, and then there's the three little options where you usually click to edit a post that has the ability to add a topic, and that's the same place where you can create new topics. So it's a good way perhaps to create a good idea perhaps to create maybe 10 or 12 different topics that you may be talking about or discussing in the group that you can tag different posts with, and it makes it easier for people to search for some topic if the posts are tagged. So that's a very simple way of doing it. It doesn't solve the whole problem, but I think it's a great start. The next thing is units, or Facebook calls them social learning units, I believe. So units are a good way to organize content that's supposed to be sequentially consumed. So if you have perhaps maybe 5 topics that you talk about in your group, you want to create a course or something, then it makes sense to create units where perhaps there's maybe the first part, maybe there's five subtopics in that you want to talk about, and you could actually add in those units different posts that you create. So maybe you have five videos for the first unit. There would be 5 individual posts, and they would be added to unit number 1. And you could add any number of different. I haven't really hit the limit with it, so I'm not sure if there's a limit with the number of units you can have. But you can add as many units as you want, I think, or you would need, and each unit can have a number of different posts that you want people to consume. So it's a good way, like I said, if you want content that you want people to consume in that certain order, it's a good way to keep that organized. So units I think they make a lot of sense. The next one is docs. It's one of my favorite ones, I'll admit. And if you've ever created a note for your page, for your public Facebook page or your business page, then these docs are very, very similar. I mean, they allow you to have a good, nice cover, a good title, and then content could be text, videos, hyperlinks to different places, different posts. I talked about creating short links to post in a tip before this one. So if you want to go ahead and look at that, if you haven't checked that out, you could, and it makes it easier to add these links to a doc. So if you want to link to different posts that you have on your group, docs are a good way to do it. Or if you want to just upload or videos from Vimeo or from YouTube, then that makes sense as well. But these are, I think, a very flexible, easy way for you to do that without having to go out and create content somewhere else and uploading it. You can just make a doc right in there. And if you don't know where to do that, docs are part of the more section when you create a post. You know, when you select photo or video or a different type of post, on the more section you could actually select docs. And what's great is when you create a doc, it actually adds a files section to your group. You know how you have discussion or members or different parts of the group? One of those tabs on the left will be, or at the top, depending on what version of Facebook you're using, will be files, and that's where the docs live, in those in that files section. And they have a direct link to each doc, so you can link them from somewhere else on your membership if you need to create some other document or something. So you can get really creative with this. They could really be linked to each other. You could say page 1, 2, 3, 4, and just kind of link people from doc to doc. So you can create your own version of units that's a lot more flexible than I think than the units. So anyway, I like docs a lot. Probably because I like business page notes as well. So the next thing is file upload. So there's a number of different file types you can upload. Most people use PDFs for this. Just like you can have docs, if you don't want to use Facebook's interface for creating a doc, if you want to create a fancy PDF or a different type of file, then you can upload it here, and they live in the same section as the docs. They live in the file section of your group. So that's another way to upload content that may be a little more branded or better organized than just posting something. So that's the other way to organize. And there is one more way. It's called events. Let's say you create content on a regular basis where, let's say, maybe here's an example of where events may make sense. Let's say every month you have a different topic, and they're kind of sequential by date. So you could create an event around that topic and say, hey, here's the first Monday of that month or something. Um, this is the topic. What's great about events is they have their own separate kind of stream of comments and discussion that's separated from the general discussion of the group, and perhaps that's a place where you can ask people to post their questions about the topic or about a topic of the month, or other content or homework or things to do that you may be asking them to do. So that's where events would make sense. So we've gone through a few ways to help you out. I wouldn't necessarily use them all, but because that may be too much, but you decide what actually makes sense and what you think your audience is going to find a lot more useful, and create that awesome user experience that I think people will enjoy. So I'll see you guys in the next tip. See you.